स्वाध्याय टीवी डॉक्टर बाबा साहेब आंबेडकर ओपन यूनिवर्सिटी।
Namaskar and hello to all my learners. Myself, Dr. Ava Shukla from Baba Saheb Ambedkar Open University would like to speak upon communication in mass media. All of us are very much well versed with the word mass media nowadays. And when we talk about communication in mass media, it means directly reaching to a very big mass and making them understand, making them happy, making them reach your ideas to itself. So first let us begin with the meaning of mass media and communication. First talking about communication, it's a two-way process of reaching a mutual understanding. When we say mutual understanding, what does it mean? It means that what I am trying to speak should directly reach into the minds and heart of the learners or the receivers to whom we tend to receive our messages. It is an exchange of our information. It may be some news, it may be some ideas or feelings. That means what I am trying to encode should be decoded in the receiver's minds. What should be decoded in the receiver's minds? What does it mean when we say it in context of mass media? When we say mass media, it is some audio, some visual or some print media. What does audio media mean? Audio, we all know about radios nowadays. We have heard radios. We know FM Mirchi or Radio FM, through which we get some entertainment, through which we get some live or direct information regarding happenings in the nation, in the state, in a city or even worldwide. When we say video, what is video? All of us know what computer is, what a display board is, what a hoarding on the roadside is. What do we see there? We see there some kind of advertisements or some kind of information related to some programs or events or seminars or conferences happening. What do we tend to inform to the receivers through that? Maybe regarding some happenings of any event taking place, maybe some celebrity coming to some or the other place in a metro city, in a city, maybe some politician, maybe some national leaders who would like to come and share their views regarding some happening, some social issues. So when we say video medium, it is directly viewing a person through some of the medium. Now when we club these two words, what one audio and a video. What is audio? That is something what we hear. Video, that is something what we see. And when we club these two things together, it becomes an audio-visual medium of communication. We tend to make our receivers understand what we want to tell them. We want to give them some news, some ideas, some feelings. We want to share our feelings. We want to create a social awareness maybe. In that case, we need to create a sensitivity in the minds of the receivers that what we want to exactly make them aware of, what a social issue is about, and how do we inform them regarding the issue, and how do we want people to act upon a particular issue or a topic. Now communication also again means create and share of a common meaning, as we all understood right now that we want to create a concept in the minds of the receiver. We want them to act upon it. So when we want them to act upon an issue, we need to share regarding a particular topic in such a way that people understand and they start acting or implementing immediately. Communication is also a means of connecting people or places. We all live in a world of mobile, internet and a social media. We all are aware of social media nowadays. We all use WhatsApp, we all use Twitters, we all use LinkedIn also. There are many social networking sites through which we connect with the people of world all across the globe. We connect with the people in our nation itself. We connect with our friends, family or relatives staying abroad, staying in different cities, to whom we cannot reach directly or face to face. To them, we tend to talk through phones, maybe through internet, maybe through video calling, or maybe through some social media sites. We connect even unknown people through these kinds of social networking sites or through social media or through a medium of television and come to a common platform where we make them understand or make them reach to some ideas. Communication or social media is also used, or mass communication is also used in business. It is a key function of management. An organization cannot operate without communication between different kind of levels or maybe different departments or employees belonging to same platform in different departments itself. Communication requires what? When we say we want to communicate to mass, it means we need one sender, we need a common message, we need a channel through which it is to reach to the people, and a recipient or a target audience to whom we want the message to be received. Now, who is a sender? If we tend to send through some television medium, through some print media, through some audio media like radios, then the owner or the source of communication will be the type of medium. What is the message exactly? The message may be some entertainment, it can be some idea, it can be a concept, or it can be a news. For example, the earthquake recently that happened in Nepal, in a fraction of a second we were aware about the happenings or mishappenings in the country itself in Nepal, and people could reach to help the country or the people who are suffering from earthquake over there. It was possible because a message was communicated through mass medium. The mass medium used was television, it was mobiles, it was social media, it was print media even in forms of internet information, and the recipients were all the people who are staying in the world and they would like to come to help the people of Nepal. Communication can occur across vast distances in time and space. It has no limitation of time and space, friends. When we say communication, the communication can happen at any moment. It is not limited to a space nowadays. It is not limited to space because we talk about mass media. Mass itself means reaching to maximum people, to reaching to maximum target audience to whom you intend to communicate what exactly you want to say or what exactly you want to communicate. The communication process is complete once the receiver understands what the sender's message is. How we understand that our communication is successful, or we have directly communicated, or people have understood what we want to tell them? It is completed, or it is tend to be succeeded when the sender's message is exactly perceived to the target audience, or they understand what we try to say, or it is conveyed to them in a proper language, in a proper format, and in proper information level. Now, when we say communication in mass media, it has basically three primary steps to follow. One is thought. What is thought? Thought is firstly the information that comes in the mind of a sender. What is it? It can be anything. It can be a gimmick. It can be a sensitive issue. It can be some entertainment. It can be a concept or a sensitivity regarding some social issue. All these together content or become a feeling or a medium through which we want to communicate. Now, the second step is encoding. Once a feeling or concept or idea is there in the mind of a sender, it needs to be encoded. How do we encode? It is a message that is to be sent to the receiver. How? Maybe in terms of symbols, maybe in terms of drama, maybe in terms of dance, maybe in terms of write-up, or maybe in terms of some audio or a visual media. The third step, which is very much important, is decoding. What is decoding? That is, finally the receiver translates the words, symbols into the concepts or information that a person can understand. That is exactly what we want to do. We want the target audience to understand what we are trying to say, friends. And that happens when the decoding is done appropriately in terms of what the encoder or the sender wishes to. Now there are some communication models which we will discuss further. The first model which we would like to discuss is the major model of communication which was introduced by Shannon and Warren Weaver for Bell Laboratories in 1949. So we can understand that the basic concept of communication has developed since so many years. It's since 1949 that people have understood the importance of communication in terms of mass media. Often referred to as the transmission model or standard view of communication, this model was developed by Shannon and Weaver. Here there are some elements which we need to discuss, but before that let us have a look on the PPT. Shannon and Weaver model of communication. See, here we can see very nicely there is a sender, there is a receiver, there is a message which a sender wishes to send to the receiver in terms of different medium, in terms of different channels. There are different elements which we need to discuss, that is information or the content that is to be sent in form of some spoken language which an emissary, decoder, sender or encoder needs to deliver to destination, receiver or decoder. The strength of this model is basically its simplicity, its generality and its quantifiability. Shannon and Weaver structured this model based on the following elements which we are going to discuss now. The first one is information source. What is an information? It is a message. It is a message. It is that needs to be produced or that needs to be encoded and sent to the receivers. A transmitter which encodes the message into signals, that is the message itself. A channel through which the signals are adapted for transmission, that is through which the message is being conveyed. How you want to convey your message? It can be again any medium of mass like audio, visual, dance, theatres, print media, hoardings, internet or social media. Then comes the receiver, who is the main target person who is going to decode the message from the signal from where the message is received. A destination where the message arrives, it is where the message basically and finally reaches up to. Shannon and Weaver, while discussing about the model, they had some problems for communication within this theory itself. There were three main problems. One, technical problem. How accurately the message is being transmitted. I want to communicate one thing, one concept to the audience. Is it accurately reaching to the audience? What is the accuracy level of it? That was the basic problem. The second one was semantic problem. How precisely a message is being conveyed to the person or to the audience to whom we intend to. The message should be very much precise and very much subject specific. If you want to give entertainment, give entertainment. If you want to talk regarding a social issue, talk regarding an issue. If you want to teach something, teach. If you want to talk regarding a thing, talk. If you want to discuss, you discuss. If you want to show a sad part of a communication, show a sad part of communication. The final problem was effectiveness problem. How effectively a message is being sent and does it bring any kind of change in the behavior of the target audience? Then we can say that we have succeeded in intending or sending of a message. There is a second model developed by Berlow. We will see in the PPT. This model is called SMCR model of communication, wherein S means source, M means message, C means channel and R is the receiver. Source and receiver needs to have a common level of encoding and decoding of a message. You can see, friends, source contains the communication skills, attitudes, knowledge, social system and culture. The same thing is to be decoded to the receiver through two different elements in between. Those are message and channel. In message we see content, elements, treatment, structure and code. All these 5 things are needed to be communicated or reached to the target audience. Through what? Through a channel, a proper channel. What is that channel? It can be a source of hearing, maybe seeing, tasting, smelling or maybe touching. Any of these channels can be used to convey to the receiver what exactly we intend to or what exactly we need to reach to the level of the receiver. Through this model, we directly understand that SMRC is very much important when we talk about mass media or mass communication. In the next PPT, there is a different kind of cartoon which is shown, and this PPT shows the communication major dimension scheme. Here there are 2 people whom you can see. One is emissor, the other is the destination. When an emissor is trying to say it's a tree, that is a content. Does the destination understand what he is trying to say? Does the target audience understand what we are trying to make them understand? It's very much seen in the PPT itself that yes, both the emissor and the destination are understanding commonly that it's a tree. So this is what communication means when we talk in mass medium. People staying anywhere, people reading, listening, viewing, doing anything should understand what we try to make them understand, what we try or intend to convey them. Next is the Bernold model proposed and is also known as transactional model of communication. The basic premise of transactional model of communication is that individuals are simultaneously engaging in sending and receiving of information, of messages or of any kind of ideas which we know. Communication is viewed as a conduit, a passage in which information travels from one individual to maybe another, and this information becomes separate from the communication itself. Why it becomes separate, friends? Because when it is a receiver and when it is a sender, what we need to communicate is to be understood. So what is taught should be understood, and so it is different from what is being said to what is being understood. A particular instance of communication is called a speech act. What is a speech act? How we try to understand the receiver's mindset. Do we understand the receiver's mindset before framing a particular message? So we need to speak in that particular format. If you target a particular age group, maybe you say teenagers, you need to come to the level of teenager and speak what they like and make them understand regarding a specific idea or specific concept. If you are speaking to a people residing in village area, maybe of a state, maybe we call it Gujarat state, if we go to a village and start speaking in English, will the people connect to you? They will not connect to you. They will love to listen or understand or be friendly with you only if you speak in their local language. This is speech act. You make them understand what you want to say in their regional language, they will get connected to you. Being in India, we maximally find all our TV channels, television channels has become a very big and a drastic change bringing mass medium nowadays. We all are very much friendly with the reality shows, with the serials, with the news channels, with sports channels, with maybe religious channels also. In which language do they speak? Basically, they speak in Hindi. At times, the regional channels speak in the regional language. Why it happens? So that they connect directly to the minds and hearts of the people. It develops a thought process in the minds of the people. You connect to the culture, you connect to the gender, you connect to the regional areas also, and so you understand, you start behaving, the receivers start behaving like the characters who are portrayed in the media or in the television or maybe in the theaters, in the live shows, anywhere. People feel themselves to be the part of that, and so they act upon it, they start behaving accordingly. So the speech act is very much important, friends. The sender's personal filters and the receiver's personal filters vary depending upon the regional traditions, culture, gender, which may alter the intended meaning of message contents. That means what I mean to say should be understood by the receivers. So, what I filter while saying should be filtered in the brain of the receiver while speaking. Now, when we talk about communication in mass media, there are different types of communication in mass media. The first one is non-verbal communication. What is non-verbal communication? That does not include speech, that does not include any kind of messages. Messages it does, speech it does not. Why? Because the non-verbal communication includes chronemics, haptics, gesture, body language, posture, facial expressions and even eye contact. What is chronemics? Chronemics is art of touching. When you see serials or when you see television or when you see some live shows or even movies, every time there is no dialogue delivery, but by the touch you understand whether the two characters are fighting, they are loving each other, they are friends, they are talking to each other, it's a formal meeting, it's informal meeting, shake hand, it's formal, you give a hug to your friend, it's friendly, it's informal. What is a gesture? Gesture, my body language speaks, my posture speaks, what I intend to say speaks. What is haptics? Haptics is time. What is the time of communication? Non-verbal communication is done by haptics. Afternoon you feel hungry, the time speaks. Morning you awake, you are fresh, the time speaks. At night you sleep, the time speaks. Facial expressions. What does a facial expression mean? All of us know that. You smile, you are happy, you are sad, you cry. Even your face when you cry or when you are sad, you don't need to you don't need to speak, it's just expression. What is eye contact? Eye contact directly looking into the eyes of the receivers, directly looking into the eyes of the media or the people. It reaches to the heart of media, it reaches to the heart of people. So, non-verbal communication does play a very much important role in mass communication. There are object communication also, like clothing, hairstyles, architecture, symbols, infographics and voice tone. What is clothing in form? When you are in a formal meeting, your clothing speaks. When you are happy, the colors you wear speaks. When you are sad, the colors you wear speaks. Your hairstyles. It gives an overall look to a personality, and when we say a personality, it speaks. You don't need to speak about yourself, but your appearance, your overall hearing, your overall clothing, your style of walking, your style of speaking communicates a lot to the audience. When we talk about mass communication, we always have some special or some favorite characters. We have our own favorite heroes or heroines, even villains we have. Why do we have that? Even the news readers, we like to listen or hear or see the news delivered by some news readers. You like some sports person, you like to see the advertisements of some sports person. Why? Their personality speaks, their way of speaking, their way of dressing, their way of coming in front of people. You are even attracted to some political leaders, some national leaders, some social workers also. Why so? Because their personality speaks. That is the non-verbal communication, which is very much important when we come in front of public, when we come in front of media, when we come in front of thousands, lakhs and crores of people. Our speech also has many kinds of non-verbal communication, which is also known as paralanguage. This form of communication is the most known for interacting with people. These include voiceless in quality, emotions while speaking, speaking style, as well as prosodic features such as rhythm, intonation, stress. It is through voice what we try or intend to make the target audience understand what expression we want to show to them. Research has shown that up to 55% of human communication occurs through non-verbal and just facial communication, and the remaining is by the paralanguage and very little by the words or expressions which we show through speaking. Written communication, non-verbal communication elements such as handwriting styles, spatial arrangement of words, and the use of emotions to convey emotional expressions in pictorial form. All these are included in non-verbal communication. Now let us talk about verbal communication. What is verbal communication? It should be effective first of all. Effective verbal or spoken communication is dependent on number of factors and cannot be isolated. Important interpersonal skills such as non-verbal communication. You cannot just say that I am speaking. If monotonously I am speaking, the listening skills and clarifications may affect. The listeners or the viewers of the programs, or maybe people who are listening to you through just audio, through just radio, they will not understand what you are trying to tell them, what you want to communicate them. So, every time when we talk about verbal communication in mass media, it is associated with non-verbal communication also. Human spoken and pictorial languages can be described as a system of symbols. Sometimes it is also known as lexemes, and the grammars, that is the rules by which the symbols are manipulated. When we say language, what is a language? It refers to some common properties of language. It is a medium through which we make our receivers understand what we are wanting them to understand. It normally occurs intensively through human childhood. When we say childhood, infants or kids, do they need any language in terms of words, in terms of alphabets? No. They understand the language of touch. They understand the language of love. They understand the language of feelings or expressions. So, from childhood we have different languages that make us understand what we want to understand. Most of the thousands of human languages use patterns of sound, gestures for symbols which enable communication with others around them. When we want to make them understand, we give different gestures, we give different expressions through which we communicate. There is no defined line between a language and a dialect. Constructed languages such as Esperanto, programming languages, and maybe some mathematical languages, all these together form necessarily restricted to properties shared by human languages. Communication is a flow of exchange information from one person to another, one group to another, or maybe one public figure to another public figure at times. These communication occurs in different types, in different communication channels, through different channels. These channels again and again relate to a mass, to a bigger or a larger group of people. As a type of face-to-face communication, body language, voice tonality has a significant role to play, as it leaves a greater impact upon the listener than informational content. This type of communication has immediate feedback, generally involves cooperative principle. Now let us talk about business communication. What is business communication? It is a kind of formal communication which where there is a system to follow, which has its own effectiveness to follow, and it has a proper appropriate message or a command to follow. It is again training of employees. It is again making them understand what a company works on. So, a business communication is again an important type of communication. When we say, friends, that growth of a country or growth of a nation, nowadays it is associated with multinational companies. What are multinational companies doing exactly? They have a large number of staff, skill-oriented staff who needs to communicate worldwide regarding their own products. They do promotions. So, again and again they need communication to be done in front of maximum mass for the product selling, for effective staff training, for making them effective, giving them best output, training them to give best outputs. So, effective communication skills acts as a ladder to managers and leaders for quick progression in their careers. We have also heard something called written communication. What is written communication? Books, newspapers, magazines, the encyclopedias, the research works done. Whenever we call or talk about these written communications, they have some pictographs also, but maximum times these kind of communication mediums which are just restricted to written communication may be misunderstood. So, when we talk about written communication, there should be some solutions to the queries or problems or formulations done in written communication. So, nowadays we find maximum panel discussions going on. What is that? It's about some topic, it's about some article, it's about some social issue or an awareness campaign where we read a lot, but after reading there are queries in minds of people that can be solved out. We have educational communications which are written communications, we have books, but nowadays with television, with internet, with the help of radio also, we can directly ask questions to experts, we can get our queries solved. There are lot many entrance exams, there are lot many admission procedures which we never come to know, which we don't understand just by reading the instructions. So, along with written communication, we need a planned follow-up talks on critical written communication as a part of every day of doing business or as a part of communicating regarding the development of a country, regarding some educational concept or regarding some social awareness campaign. Friends, when we talk about different types of communication in public or in front of people around, there is a part or there is a factor known as communication noise. There are different type of communication noise. Just we have a look in the PPT what type of noises we talk about. See, we can see there are different types of communication noises: environmental noise, physiological impairment noise, semantic noise, syntactical noise, cultural noise, organizational noise, psychological noise. When we say communication noise, friends, we talk about mass media and communication. All these noise tend to affect maximally when we are in front of a public, when we talk in front of a public, or when we communicate in front of a mass. Maybe any medium, maybe any kind of channel we use to communicate, but these noises tend to occur in our day-to-day lives while communicating. Let us discuss each one of them. First is environmental noise. What is environmental noise? If we have a direct theatre, if we have a direct talk or a direct speech, noise that physically disrupts communication, like standing next to loudspeaker at a party, or noise from a construction site next to a classroom, making it difficult to hear the professor. Even in studio while we are talking, if we have some disturbances in sound, it will be considered as environmental noise, as it affects the hearing, it affects the listening of the receiver. The next one is physiological impairment noise. Physical maladies that prevent effective communication, such as actual deafness or blindness, preventing messages from being received as they were intended. You are delivering a message through maybe television, through maybe internet, through maybe mobile, but if a person is blind, when we say about audio video media, then the message won't be conveyed to him. when we talk about radio, if a person is deaf, we cannot convey our intended message to the target audience. So, while deciding upon a channel to be communicated for the message, it is very much important to understand the target audience and then decide whom we want to communicate. The next one is semantic noise. Different interpretations of the meanings of certain words, for example, weed. What we understand by weed? It may be an undesirable plant or as a euphemism marijuana. It means when you use a specific word which has two meanings, it should be very much specific that your target audience understands the meaning of the word used by you in the way you want to communicate. Then only the message will be appropriately and precisely communicated to the target audience. The next one is synectical noise. Mistakes in grammar can disrupt communication, such as abrupt changes in verb tense during a sentence. When we speak in front of public, when we speak or deliver a dialogue or sing a song, the meaning changes, or even if you perform in front of a stage or you say something, the grammatical mistakes changes the entire meaning of the sentence you want to convey. You should use properly framed sentences, proper tones of voice while you want to say something. Your voice modulation should convey the meaning you want to convey. The next one is organizational noise. Poorly constructed communication can prevent the receiver from accurate interpretation. For example, unclear and badly stated directions can make the receiver even more lost. For example, if you are trying to show a recipe to be prepared in the television, you are demonstrating it. But while demonstrating, if you miss your sentence, or if you mix your words, or if you mix your recipes while saying, you ask them to put sugar in place of salt, the entire recipe changes, the entire motive of conveying a particular kind of recipe changes. So, it can make your receiver lost from exactly what you are wanting them to convey, or what you want them to make while giving a demonstration. So, organizational noise should be restricted while planning for mass communication. Cultural noise. Friends, it is again a very important kind of noise which while communicating we should understand. Stereotypical assumptions can cause misunderstandings such as unintentional offending, like for example, you are wanting to communicate a particular kind of message, maybe a message of death, but if you convey it smilingly or laughingly, what will happen? Or you are going in temple, you are going in mosque, or you are going in a church and you don't follow the praying procedures while going in a specific religious place, and this you show in mass media, what effects it will have? All of us know that news channels at times highlight a statement spoken by a public figure. It can be a celebrity, it can be a political person, it can be a person from maybe some multinational company, and if they speak something wrong or if they offend, what do we do? What does the media channels do? News channels do. So, this kind of communication or this kind of cultural noise should be restricted. The next one is psychological noise. At times, we are very much rigid regarding our thoughts. We don't want to change. Certain attitudes can also make change or communication difficult. For example, if I am in anger or I am sad, it may affect my focus on the present moment. It may affect the type of message I want to convey to the receiver. So, we should be very much specific psychologically also what you want to convey to the public, what you want to convey to the target audience should be very much subject specific. These were the different types of communication noises which we discussed about. So, today we discussed regarding the meaning or concept of mass communication and communication. We discussed about different models of communication. We discussed about different types of communication in mass and the noises or the disturbances which occur in mass when we talk about. Right? Here I end my lecture today. Thanks for listening. Namaskar.
स्वाध्याय टीवी